We will call the March 27th meeting of the Bruce Township Zoning Board of Appeals to order. Roll call, Dana.
Kirk Moss.
Here.
Mike Tremblay.
Here.
Don Hook.
Excuse.
Jenny Teller.
Here.
Lori Zolno.
Here.
And Tom Kalpathan.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have to say that? We have to say that?
I used to. Item 4 is approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Support. Moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved. Item 5 is approval of the previous minutes of the meeting of October 24th, 22.
Move that they be approved as submitted.
Any comments?
I have one question.
One question, go ahead.
On page 3, under communications, the third bullet. Can someone explain what that is?
Yeah, did you want me to?
Absolutely.
That was that training in Flint that the PC County made mention of with the solar that was offered. I don't know if
That was the third bullet, the second bullet. The 3-board meeting.
yeah, when we had the all three boards meet. I think somebody
This-
That's true.
The training.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm good.
Now I got a copy.
I'll second the motion.
You said that?
I'd like
Second.
a copy of everything.
Yeah.
Not over there.
Of the minutes?
Yeah.
Please.
You can have this one.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are you guys good?
We're good.
Thanks.
I'll second the motion.
Well, we can make more if anybody else wants them. We can.
No, we're good.
We're good? Okay. Okay. Moved and seconded.
Available online.
Okay. Also online. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Item 6, unfinished business. I have no unfinished business. Anyone else have unfinished business?
No.
Move on. Item 7 is the Virginia White Senior Legacy Trust split variance request. Motion to open the public hearing.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Public hearing is now open. Prior to the beginning of the public meeting, just a couple housekeeping items for folks. There is a opportunity for the petitioner to state their case. There's also the opportunity for the public to speak on that particular item during the public hearing. Yes.
What does it say exactly? I don't know if I have the exact piece of paper here, but
That's not there. It's all you
It's on there?
have. Should have is just an agenda. This was from last week.
all right.
So
Well,
you
what is
don't
the one
have
for today
anything.
then?
You don't have anything for this.
Okay.
So I guess I got a question. So now it's open to discussion?
No.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Okay.
And then I think I'll try to make it a little bit clearer for everybody, particularly when you have to present. And there are some protocols that the township has established as far as public comment. When you step to the podium, please give your name, address, and your comments should be limited to this particular agenda item. After the public hearing is closed in this item, if you have any other comments pertaining to the agenda or any other item, you're free to come and speak. There is a 3-minute limit, but in this particular setting, we're flexible. If there's information that needs to be presented, we want to hear it. If it takes longer than 3 minutes, we're not going to blow the whistle. 3.5 will blow the whistle. If you present something, the board will ask questions. If you need to clarify something, if you want to ask questions, you're certainly free to come and do that. We need as much information as we can get, and we're happy to receive that. So that being said, the petitioner can step to the podium, give us their information, presentation. Go from there.
All right. I'm John White, representing my sisters and our mother's trust. We've had this property for quite a few years. The Christines, Dave and Kathy, approached us a couple months ago and were interested in acquiring a piece of the land. The piece that they want doesn't have enough road frontage for the depth of the piece of land that they want. It's got, it's the farthest piece. Do you guys know which piece we're talking about? Do you have? Okay, so it's got like 407 foot. So basically, we're over by 359 feet in the back. The Christines want that whole piece all the way back. They paid for us to come to this meeting tonight. That's how sincere they are about it. This is Dave, and that's his wife, Kathy. It makes the piece straight through. The back piece where we start getting over the footage is all wetland. So my attitude, I guess, is there's really nothing that can be done with that piece anyhow, now or in the future, I would assume. So to me, it kind of makes it a little clear cut. There's not like they can't put a house back there. I talked to all the neighbors on 33, and they seem to all understand, before I even said it, that they're kind of buffered because of the wetland. They know that there won't be anything directly behind them. So we're just asking that you would consider it, giving us the variance based on that. I don't know what else to say. This is kind of new to me. And you said I only had 3 minutes, so I was trying to cut it short.
The applicant gets more.
Oh,
We've got the room booked all night.
no. Pizza coming in later?
Pizza comes at 11.
I talked to the neighbors. We only have a couple of neighbors that showed up. Gail showed up. She lives in the 2690, the little house that's at the top of that field. I don't know what their feeling is. I did talk to them. I tried to talk to just about everybody that's surrounded that you sent letters out to. Nobody seemed to give us any negative. We've got Mike Anke. He's a neighbor of ours. I don't know what his feeling is.
You're going to find out.
Yes. But it didn't, as I talked to the neighbors that I talked to, nobody seemed to have a problem with it, which I felt good about. The way I see it, really, the only thing that's ever going to happen with this piece of property right now is two things. My sisters and I won't own it anymore. So, but now the Christines are going to own it. It's going to change hands, hopefully, with your permission for the variance. And the only other thing is eventually the Christines are talking about building a house there and making it their home. That's the only thing I see. So to the neighbors, I mean, it won't be a subdivision going in, it won't be, site condos. I don't think it can even be site condos, because I don't think they have, if I understand it, they don't have enough road frontage to bring a road down with a parcel on each side. So they don't even have the ability, unless, of course, I guess, if they bought more property down the road to give them more frontage. But as of right now, I don't see how it can be. So in my limited knowledge, it's going to stay that field with a house on it eventually. But we're just hoping that you'll, with the wetland, there's not much that can be added to that or done back there. I'll take a breath.
Okay, that's fine. And you did give a little bit of history of the property on the write-up as to how the parcels came about, so
Yeah, okay.
that's sufficient.
Yeah, it was all one big piece, but, the Christines wanted that piece.
And how the one piece was carved out.
Right.
Okay.
So that's how we end up with a shortage of road footage.
Okay. Does the board have any questions at this point?
Just one comment, Mr. Chairman. Mr. White. Right?
Yes.
Our understanding is that you've been through the assessor's office with this request for the division, and that's where the instruction came to come before the ZBA.
Correct.
Okay. And what, did the assessor have any particular comment with respect to the division itself?
I don't believe they had any negative comment. Chris, my sister Chris, she's our oldest. Thank you, of the family. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Just my sister Crystal.
This is my sister Chris. Okay. Nothing was said to you, right?
We were just discussing the, with the depth, because I knew that was
Going to be an issue.
an issue, yeah, and they seemed to, indicate that was the only problem with this.
And Chris Flint is very familiar with the process because she used to work in that side.
He knows more about it than we do.
So the only issue that was really pointed out was the depth of the ratio.
Yes, the ratio, yeah.
And that's why you're here.
And that's why we're here.
Can that parcel be split again?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Not at this point.
No, because, again, from what I understand, in Bruce Township, to say put a road down, you have to have, 60 foot for the road easement?
60-foot road and.
And then 200 foot on each side, and they don't have the road frontage for that.
Well, there's also, as we were discussing that today with the assessing department, that if they wanted to split it, again, that would just make it less conforming than it already would be if this was allowed.
At this point. Yeah, I didn't know if there were any splits left on the entire parcel.
Well, that doesn't have to go, Chris, correct me, it's an odd situation where, but that you don't have to sell the split, right?
Well, that was one of my.
Oh, so, we won't be given.
Are you going to retain?
Yes,
the
we
rights? You're not going to pass the right to split
No.
the property on? Okay, that was my question. Okay. Any other questions at this point? Okay. If we have any more, we'll.
Got anything you want to say?
Yeah.
This is the prospective owner here.
I'm Dave Christine. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, we just plan on putting a house there, so that's really subdivisions. I'm not a builder. That's not my field. So yeah, we're just really would just like to put a house. I mean, that's it, just so our kids can grow up on it. So, but yeah.
Where do you plan to put the house?
I want to say closer to the back. So there's kind of a dash line that goes through there. That's kind of where the wood starts, I would say. We would kind of just stay towards the back, not go into the woods. I want to stay off the woods. I want to keep the house back. I don't really want to be up towards the road. The house that we live in now, we're a little farther back, but we like how we like how it's a big open field, and we want to be nice and close to the woods. So, but yeah. And if that's doable, I'm pretty sure it's doable. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a learning process for us. We've never built a house before. We've always wanted to, but I grew up right down the road, so, but yeah, it's just kind of working out. So hopefully it all works out, but yeah.
Where will you access the property?
So there's kind of a driveway somewhat going on, that would be
To the west.
Yeah, to the-
Of 2690.
yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of where, but my wife and I kind of talked about just coming it'd be more towards the west. So if we're allowed, I don't know how the driveway rules, and that's all going to be a big learning curve for us, but we would try to hug it, kind of go center of that 407 feet there. That's kind of our thought, was kind of getting center there. It is higher, yeah.
It's very high.
Yeah, so like I said, it's gonna be all new to us, so that's,
Right where you got
yeah,
it now, John.
yeah.
Right where you got it now.
Probably.
So, there's a
But-
little two-track, is that where you're talking about? that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, so, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
I
we
didn't
use.
know, it's hard, I don't know where the property lines are. There were no stakes or anything, so I didn't know if that was on the adjoining property.
No.
Or, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Where they have, the mills have there's some pine trees right there.
Yeah.
That's on their property line.
That's
And-
2690?
Yeah.
Correct. So, but yeah, a driveway, I mean, you could bulldoze that hill down.
Right.
Just depends on how bad, where you want that driveway.
correct, yep, yeah, and we've talked about it, we've drove by it, we've talked about it. She would love it in the,
The property.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of.
You want it probably up
that
on
distance.
top of the hill, where he has it now, or you'll never get in the winter.
right,
Yeah, that's pretty high, that's, the height of it was all
yes,
elevation.
yes, yeah.
So, okay, that's, I believe those are the questions I have. Does anybody else have any?
Are there any structures on the property today?
Structures, no. It's all vacant.
Does a prospective buyer, you know, buy the property?
I haven't, no, we were going through this first, yeah.
Do you plan on putting any outbuildings?
I would like to, yes. I have a barn now, so yes, I would like to have another barn again, yes.
Okay, so when you get to that point, you probably want to review the ordinance and see what size outbuilding is allowed
Okay.
for that piece
Okay.
of property.
Yeah, our biggest thing is basically, we're gonna keep it farmed right now. I don't plan on building right away. If I could, I would. We'll see. I can't predict the future, but no, we just want to keep it farmed for now. And I've even thought about me doing the farming myself. I have friends that are into it, so I think it'd be fun to do, but we'll see.
That's pretty aggressive.
Yeah. So we'll see. That's all big hearsay, but no, in the near future, I know we're gonna build the house. How near, I'm not 100% sure. But yes, that's everything that me and her talked about, is figuring out where we can put a barn, the placement, the house. That's, like I said, it's all gonna be new to us, so. But yeah, I mean, that's our goal, is basically keep it farmed for now. And, yeah, and then hopefully in the near future, build something.
No subdivision.
Yeah, no subdivisions.
You want the kids to have horses and calves, right?
Yeah.
Chickens?
Yeah. We got chickens now.
Oh, do you
We
really?
got horses, we're all right.
Yeah, we got chickens now, but yeah, we'll see. But
Okay, just while I think of it too, just a note for you that if this is approved, the ZBA approval will last a year if nothing is done on the piece of property.
Even though he buys it and the ownership changes hands? So then what happens?
Well, I don't
Going
know
for
what
the
you
board.
have to do. I wouldn't think a person would have to do a whole lot to do something on a piece of property to
Okay,
maintain.
I never
Got
thought
it.
about that.
okay,
Yeah, so I just want you to be aware of that.
Okay.
So that you're not stuck down the road.
right.
And again, I don't have anything to do with that, what needs to be done, but I wouldn't think it needs to be a whole lot.
So would they have to give the property back, and my sisters and I would have to give the money back?
No, you wouldn't have to put much back.
Okay, we just get the property back. It's a good deal.
You have to pay me, not yourself.
Any other comments you'd like to make?
I think that's
Okay.
it, right?
Yeah.
Nothing
All
at this
right,
moment.
thank you.
All set then?
Yeah, if we have any other questions, we'll call you back.
I'm from,
You want to see that?
2690 Taft. I
Your name,
just,
sir?
Justin Mills. My biggest thing is just don't do a subdivision. I don't care what they do, as long as it's not a subdivision. And they're good neighbors. They got kids, I got kids. My mom's 70 years old, so I help her and whatever, but everyone on the road, just don't speed down the road, because that's one of the biggest problems, is speeding down the road, kids and whatever. I got dogs and whatever, and if they get horses, I want to ride them. But other than that, just not a subdivision is all I ask. And the driveway would probably be the best spot is where you have it now, because unless you take out the hill, because there's lots of accidents right on that hill. It's the worst, one of the worst hills in the world in the wintertime. But other than that, I mean, I'd like to buy some of the property, but he's got it for sale. But that's it.
Okay, just for your, for clarification, there is nothing in the application or the write-up to indicate that there is anything other than a single-family home plan here.
Correct. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yes.
Questions?
Yeah, I got nothing. Need a copy of it?
No, I got it. Hi, I'm Mike Anke. Hi, Jenny. Long time no see. Local real estate broker in Romeo for over 40 years. I looked at this. I think it makes perfect sense. If you weren't to grant that and they had to stick to the 1-to-4 ratio, the remaining parcel becomes quite the nightmare. Would have that dog leg and behind. We support it, especially if it's just going to be one house in there. I think it makes perfect sense. That's all I have. 3350 Taft.
Any other comments?
I'll send it to you.
Okay. No further comments? Any questions at this point? And again, it's a formal process, but we try to keep it as informal as we can to make sure that we get the information. Any other questions from the board members at this point? Okay, hearing none. A motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, public hearing is closed. At this point, the board will discuss the items. We have to do it publicly. We have to stay within the boundaries of what we are required to consider. And I will paraphrase that for you so that you know what the parameters are that we can make a decision on. And we have to consider these parameters when we're making the decision. So it's not just a kind of an ad hoc thing. We do have criteria. In order to approve an application, we have to find that strict enforcement of the zoning ordinance would cause a practical difficulty for the petitioner. The conditions and circumstances are unique to that particular piece of property and not applicable to other adjoining properties or nearby properties. The conditions and circumstances unique to the property were not created by the owner or the previous owner. The variance won't confer special privilege to this property owner that would be denied to others. And the ordinance, the request should be consistent with the zoning ordinance and the township requirements. Those are the boundaries that we are required to stay within and consider. So at this point, I will open the discussion to the board. Any questions, comments, or motions?
Tom, could I ask you to share the conversation that went back and forth with the email with Joe Taylor?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure that it's real pertinent to this at this particular moment, but I guess without going into a lot of detailing, the township, I believe, is going to take a look at that ratio on large parcels to see if it's practical to retain that. There's no official process in place. It has not been referred to the Planning Commission, but because of this request, and I guess there's a similar one coming, Dana, at some point, they've decided rather than continually address these, particularly the way things are going on in the township, they're going to take a look at that. That has no impact at this point on what we're dealing with tonight. So as they say, timing is everything. Okay. Thanks, Mike. Anything else? The comment that I would make is, I think, looking at this, and I would agree with the gentleman, if the board were to deny this and send it back to split it so that you have the correct ratio, I believe we would be creating a bigger problem for the property owners and for the township on the way that piece of property would have to be split at that point. And at least in my opinion, that wouldn't be a very good decision for the property owners nor for the township. So
I agree 100% with that position. I think we would be creating an unusual piece of property by requiring that to be.
Yes.
Not the one that's being split, but the one that's left over.
Right. Are you going to record on the deed your retaining the property or the split rights?
If that is what you would like, yes, we will.
No,
Well, Chris?
that's an option I think you have.
I understand that wording is required on all deeds that are recorded to have a number of how many divisions are being transferred.
Okay.
And it has to have a number anywhere from 0 to, so
Let me-
we would be putting,
Okay. Yeah, that was just a question.
I think that's a required
Okay.
thing from this register deeds.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Do you have anything else that you'd like to say?
It's hard to believe, but I'm at a loss of words.
I'm shocked, thank you. I've never seen this side of him.
We've done our job.
Yeah, I was sweating up there. If I could have talked from back here, it would have been much better.
Okay. All right, well, at this point, if there's no other questions, no other comments from the board, I would entertain a motion.
I'd like to move that Mike makes the motion.
Okay. I do have a question though for you, Tom.
Okay.
One of the requirements is that the practical difficulty was not created by the owner or the previous owner,
Right.
but that one split where John's house is, or the
Mhm.
2690.
Yes.
No,
No,
that's the Mills at
that's
2690.
my house.
Kim and I are 2990.
Was 2690 split from the original?
We're the previous
property?
owners
It
of
was.
2690.
Previous owner,
Yeah,
yes.
from the
So
previous.
the previous owner could have created
They did
some
not,
of the practical difficulty.
they did,
But then some of the practical difficulty, being the wetlands, was not created by anybody.
no.
So-
And on the criteria, the one item is if this particular situation was created by the current owner or the previous owner, are one of the things that we have to consider. And we do have to consider that. However, we don't have to have an affirmative answer on each and every one of them. So that was clearly created by the previous owner, and we will note that.
Okay, I'll try a motion. I would motion that the zoning board of appeals approve the variance sought, because strict enforcement would create a practical difficulty for both the prospective buyer and for the township in how they would have to split that property to meet the requirements. There are conditions unique to this property, given the wetlands to the south that are non-buildable, that if taken into consideration would reduce the variance from the width and depth ratios. By granting this variance, I think there's enough unique circumstances to this piece of property that it does not grant special privileges to this prospective buyer and the applicant that would not be granted otherwise to other applicants. And then, what was the fifth one?
Consistent with the zoning.
Consistent with the zoning ordinance.
Township requirements.
I would say it's inconsistent with the current zoning requirements. However, there is a recommendation by this body to ask the planning commission to relook at the ordinance, given the unique, the size of the split and what happens and what is happening in other communities regarding properties that are split of this size.
Okay. Yeah.
Comment on the motion. Do we believe that it's appropriate to add that last bit of information in this motion? Or is it necessary for us to do that?
No, I don't think so.
That'd be my only comment on the motion. So
I would think that, in essence, what we're saying is that the request for this, even though it doesn't meet the ordinance, it's consistent with the township's practice as far as maintaining the rural
Okay,
nature.
I'll amend the last piece of my motion
and I'll support
at
that.
the suggestion of fellow ZBA members to say that it is consistent with township past practices.
I'll support the motion.
Okay, moved and supported. And you need us to, I'll just kind of paraphrase it, how's that? That we have a motion to approve the variance. The enforcement, strict enforcement would create a practical difficulty with the way the split would come out. There are unique conditions on the property, not created by the property owner nor the previous owner, the wetlands in the rear of the property. the property is unique enough that an affirmative decision by this board would not confer special privileges to this piece of property that wouldn't be conferred to a similar piece of property, and that the split is consistent with township practice in trying to maintain the rural atmosphere. So, did I get it? Exactly what you were going to say? Okay, good. All right. At this point, are there any other comments, questions, or concerns on the part of the board prior to voting? All right, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Jenny Teller,
Yes.
Roy Zolno,
Yes.
Mike Tremblay,
Yes.
Kirk Moss,
Yes.
Tom Kokasa.
Yes. The request is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations to all of you.
Appreciate
No more
it.
crying.
Well, was it that bad?
She just wants to be a country girl.
They have been, from what I understand, they have been looking for property out in the country for how long?
So which of the kids is responsible for the chickens?
Okay. Well, was it that bad?
You know, like I say, I can sit down and talk all day long. In fact, when you said 3 minutes, I know my sister and my wife said, oh, that's not
Not gonna
possible.
happen.
I was panicking. I didn't know if I could talk for 3 minutes up there. And I did clam up, and there was a lot of things I wanted to say that I forgot. But you know what? It went well. Mike helped me tremendously because I wanted to touch on what he said, but all of a
It
sudden,
goes out of your mind.
yeah, my mind went blank. But it was, yeah, not bad.
Okay.
Not bad at all.
Next
Not
time
too
will be easier.
painful.
Yeah, next time it'll be easy, right?
Hopefully there is not a next time.
All right. Item 8 on the agenda, are there any other comments from the floor for the board? Hearing none. Are there any communications?
I would just like to ask Dana to get with Joe regarding that last email, and then work with Ed to get that added to the agenda, see if Joe can come up with something real.
Absolutely.
We have included in the packet, Joe, a copy of Joe's presentation on the requirements in the workings of the ZBA. I asked Dana to put this in for each one of the board members so that you have it. But we also talked about including this along with some of the other information that we have and putting together an orientation package for new board members. There isn't one, and we've tried to pass things out haphazardly. So I think Dana is working on putting together a regular packet that would be provided as an orientation.
I might have a ZBA handbook. I'll look at that stuff.
I gave it to you.
I did.
Yeah, I gave you 2 of them, I think,
Yeah.
that I had.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're probably David.
So am I.
When I did get the updated version, I called them.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
yeah. Because that would be very helpful for me.
Right.
Yeah, it helped me a lot, too.
Then you wouldn't have to call people and threaten them instead of say yes.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, any other communications? Any other questions, comments, concerns? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support. We're adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Quick question.
Thank you.
Are you guys in Bruce Township today?
No, we're in Inlay City, but I grew up at 34 McWinder, so my parents.
Romeo grad?
Still there, yep, yep.
Welcome back to the neighborhood. Soon.